All right, second take of recording this. It helps if you don't have a fan in the background. Just a little tip from one creator to potential other ones. Turn off the external audio when you start recording something. Starting off, we got experimentation. This one, easily going to put this in the safe tier. If you're dying on this map, come on now, what are you doing? Only excuse, maybe it's your first time encountering the blacksmith. I don't want to talk anything bad about that. It's very fair, but the enemies aren't too tough. The layout is very, very simple. The outside enemies typically aren't too bad. Very safe map. I think it belongs firmly there. Next up, we're going to have Assurance. This map, I think it's a strong contender to go in the ain't too bad tier. Really nothing too scary on this map. I mean, it is, outside and inside enemies a bit more tough than experimentation, but experimentation is a joke, right? It's not too tough. So, gonna put this one ain't too bad. Nothing really super important to look out for on this one. Next up, we have Vow. Now, here's a little pattern you might notice. I'm not sure if this is for everyone or just me. I find the green maps to be a fair bit more difficult than any of the, especially like the sort of desert maps, just because they have the giant enemy. And the giant enemy, kind of tough. So I'm going to put Vow in the be careful tier. This map itself, I like the layout of it, so it's not the worst. If there's a giant sort of here, you can sort of, if you're at the main exit, go across this bridge and get around him like that. If the giant is guarding here, you can use the fire exit path to get out. And even if he's sort of in this in-between area, you do have options to try and flank him. There's some hill terrain. So it's not the worst, but definitely it's significantly more annoying than either Assurance or Experimentation. So I'll put it in be careful. Next up, we have Offense. This might be a bit of a contentious take. I'm going to put Offense in the ain't too bad tier. Definitely the outside really is nothing to be scared about. Now let me get my bit compressed JPEG here. You have a shortcut when you leave the facility from the main exit, just down here, which is going to bypass a lot. Like a lot of times I find the giants are going to be camping over here, or the dogs are going to be over here. Now they can be at the ship, of course, but there's a lot of land they could be that you can simply bypass even at the main exit. And the fire exit, you can just jump on this thing, and it takes you right to the ship. So if you're going fire exit on this, like you can bring a ladder to get up there if you don't hit the jump right away. Really, really safe map for that. The inside is a bit scarier than these two maps. It's not as bad for Brackens as any of the forest maps are, I find, but really nothing too bad here. You do have to look out for the coil heads more, but I'm going to put Offense in the ain't too bad tier as far as difficulty goes. I just don't think it's too bad. Next up, we have March. This is another one of these forest maps, so you have to look out for the giants. You have to look out for the Bracken when you're inside. March, specifically compared to Vow, I find a lot worse for these giants, because if a giant spawns like here, and you're here, this huge choke point, it's very hard to get around him here. Or if he's here and you're from this fire exit or here, again, you do have options to flank. It's just a lot more congested than Vow would be. So I'm going to put it, I think, I might even put it in Call an Ambulance tier. I'll put it very, very low, be careful tier. So it's sort of eking in between these two. It's a tough one to be sure. Anyone where, especially for these lower tier maps where you don't have the facilities to kill a giant or to kill a Bracken, you really have to keep your head on a swivel. Up next, we got Adamance here. This one I'm going to put right in the Call an Ambulance tier. Especially the outside on this map, I find to be ridiculous. Once it hits like 3, you're going to have like 4 Baboon Hawks camping this interior. So if you've broken this bridge, you're in for a gong show here. Then you get later on in the night, you'll have dogs camping up near the ship, and there'll be Baboon Hawks. So you want to yell at the Baboon Hawks to keep them away, and then the dog kills you, right? Very tough map. This is one that it's very fresh, very new to the game, so I'm not super experienced with it, so maybe in time I'll find it easier. But definitely, and especially because this bridge can break, or even the bridge you jump across from fire exit, the bridge in quotes, because it's already broken, can break, and then you're right in the sort of the ring of fire for all these birds. It can be stinky, so I'm going to put it in the Call an Ambulance tier as far as difficulty goes. Up next, we got Embryon. Now, Embryon, very special. I made the death tier just for it. You're going to die if you go there. Especially if you end up going here, the best thing you can do is tell your friends to take the apparatus out. That way you get the funny, epic, all of the old birds wake up and kill you immediately. Moving on, we have Rend. This might be a real hot take. I'm going to put Rend in the be careful tier. I really don't think it's all that bad. The special enemy, some of these later maps, they have one enemy that appears more common than everything else. Special enemy on Rend is the Nutcracker, which I think is more in favor of this map than it is a detriment. Just because once you kill the first Nutcracker and you get a shotgun, you don't have to worry about bracket anymore. You just kill him. It's gone. It doesn't respawn for the whole level. And also, it's very, very easy to kill Nutcrackers once you get a shotgun. So you can sort of spiral out of control with your killing potential on this map. It becomes very safe, very quick. As far as outside enemy goes, dogs on this map really aren't too bad. You can just sort of crouch walk. Giants do spawn here. What I really like about this map is if a giant spawns in your sort of light path, you have options. So you can sort of flank behind here. So if a giant is like here, you can flank and come out behind the shack and just walk up to the ship. And even if a giant is like here, you can flank and go behind this sort of hill here and still get past it like that. So I don't think it's really too bad. I definitely like my odds surviving Rend better than I do Adamance. So I think it's very safe in the be careful tier. Up next, you'll notice I have two different maps for Dyne, because this is the old map and this is the new map. The old Dyne I would put in safe tier, because it really, once you just buy an extension ladder and you go to the fire exit, you win. Most of the enemies are going to spawn out here. You just get free entry like that. Unfortunately, for Old Dyne, it no longer exists, so I'm going to take that out of the tier list and go on to New Dyne. So I do like the change to the exterior of Dyne. It feels significantly more different than Rend, which before they sort of felt like, which map am I playing? As far as the outside goes, you have options. There's a lot of hills, so if you see a giant, you can sort of just juke and jive. You can get around them. Obviously, if you see a dog, you can sort of quiet up, try to crouch. I love the exterior for this map. The interior, things get a bit stinky. So the Butler is the super common enemy on Dyne compared to Rend, where it's the Nutcracker. There's a few similarities like that. Like on, I think it's Rend, the Comedy Mask is very common and the Tragedy is rare, whereas on Dyne, Tragedy is very common, Comedy is rare. So they are definitely like two sides of the same coin. The thing with the Butler is he sucks to kill. You can do it quite easily to kill it, but once you kill it, you have those bees flying all over the place, it's a gong show. So on Rend, when you kill the first of the special enemy, it becomes easier. On Dyne, when you kill the first of the special enemy, it becomes much more difficult. And you also get more money for killing the Nutcrackers. We'll talk about that more in the video, don't worry. So I'm going to put Dyne in the Call an Ambulance tier, because I just think it is significantly more risky to go to than Rend, especially with their values being... Let's see if I can make this sort of fit properly. There we go. It's a square map. Most of them are rectangles. Completely lost my train of thought there. Yeah, especially I think the value difference between these two is something like $9. It's not very high. So I do prefer to go to Rend if I can, just because I do find Dyne to be tougher. Moving on, we have Titan here. So Titan's a weird case, because the exit for Titan, in my opinion, is up there with Experimentation for how safe it is. Once you get up here, if you have an extension ladder, you just drop all your items right here on this sort of staircase, and it's like a 5-step walk to the ship. Fire exit's right here as well, so you don't have to worry about your pathing. It's a very unique entrance. Enemies that spawn on this map, I like personally, if you see a giant, what you can do is have someone get ready on the teleporter, and because this isn't like a later on moon, you're probably going to have access to more of the advanced stuff. So you can have someone run this way and bring the giant away, or even the dogs, but it's definitely safer with the giant. Have someone ready to teleport him, so he'll yell, hey, teleport me once he gets here, so the giant is no longer blocking you. Dogs are annoying because they take up pretty much the width of the staircase. But it's really nothing too bad as far as the outside goes. The inside is a gong show, though. The Jester is tied with the Nutcracker, I think, on this map for most common entity. And it's a real problem because the length of this map, or the max scale, is 2.2. It's the biggest of any map in the game, even bigger than Artifice. So what happens is you'll have some people really deep in the facility. They don't know where the entrance is. And then some other people set off a Jester. These guys don't know it, but these guys do, so they leave. And now they're just sort of in this like dead man walking state where they don't even know a Jester is coming to kill them until they hear the footsteps at Mach 10, and then they die. There's a lot of stuff like that, with coil heads being a problem too. People here can see a coil head, leave, and the people in the facility won't know, and they'll like just be walking along, and then the coil head will recognize his players and then just go run up and kill them, right? So interior is definitely tougher. I'm going to put this in the Call an Ambulance tier. It's nowhere near as bad as Embryon, but the interior does get rather scuffed rather quick, and with it being so big, you do have to sort of get lost in the sauce to get anything out of that map. Last up, we have Artifice. Oh boy. It's a fun map. I love that it has these unique features outside. Only a couple maps have something like that. Like Rend has a shack you can find. Same with Adamance, there's a shack. But these ones actually do something. You can trap giants and old birds in these shacks. I think dogs too. Mostly giants and old birds are the ones you want to prioritize, in my opinion. Which is nice. It has something on the outside of the map that's worth doing something with. Inside of the map, it's tough. You know, it's $1,500 for a reason. This map is not easy. It's very unique. I like it a lot. I don't think it's as bad as Embryon, because that map is sort of set up to be like, if you go here, you're going to die. This one at least gives you a chance. So I'm going to put it the toughest of the Call an Ambulance tier. So that's my tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If I made some mistakes, or if you have some maps that you think are easier because you know a trick for them, let me know. Or don't. Whatever you want to do.